welcome back to my YouTube channel, No Mirror Needed, where I make personal growth and self-help development videos just for you. So I feel like it's been a long time since I've been on here and filmed a YouTube video for you guys. It has seemed like I've had something going on every single weekend, and I only get the weekends to film for my YouTube channel. So if there's something that comes up in my family, or if I have a side hustle that I have planned that weekend, it's just impossible for me to fit in a video since I work a full-time job. I have cleared my morning schedule, so ready to get this ball rolling and start filming for you guys. At work, I have been completely stressed out. So I came up with this idea that I wanted to film a series of videos on how to cope with certain situations that are going on in your life, whether it be work-related, relationship-related, or just personal issues that you may be going through. Now, for me right now, my entire company is going through a complete buyout and overhaul. So we got bought out by a different company, and in the beginning, like all companies, they say that things are going to change and everything's going to stay the same. But then after a couple of months, little by little, new things start coming up, and then all of a sudden they want to do a whole completely big revamp of your company. So that's basically what we're going through right now. They have been upheaving all of us. A couple of weeks ago, I flew to Michigan to go through an entire training seminar, which was nerve-wracking. I was completely stressed out having to fly. I haven't flown in years, especially since like COVID and everything. I didn't know like how that was going to happen, but I got through it and I got back safe and sound. And now it's just been crunch time trying to get a whole bunch of training. So this has been really stressing me out. And I have felt like, and I haven't felt like this in a really long time, like there's just so much weight on my shoulders. There's not enough time in the day. And I came up with this idea that doing a video like this may be really beneficial for a couple of people, because if you're going through something completely similar, you may not know like how you can balance or deal with this type of stress. So let's just jump into the video so we can get started on how you can cope and deal with stress at work. So let's start by pointing out what are some signs of stress in the workplace. And I'm only specifically talking about work. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a series of videos having to do with your personal life and relationships. But for now, we are strictly focusing on the workplace. So what are some signs that you are dealing with stress? Obviously, anxiety, lack of sleep, depression, not wanting to go to work and having that fear of dread. And we all have felt that, where when we get up in the morning and we have this overwhelming feel of dread and we just don't want to go to our jobs anymore. Other signs is that you are having a really bad attitude. Your attitude may change. You have lack of concentration. You are not sleeping, like I said, maybe not even eating. You have basically no motivation. You become very abrupt and people just don't want to be around you. You may be feeling also very irritable and that you cannot be approached by many people. Also that you're losing patience and that you just can't handle things anymore at work or at your job. Now, even though a lot of people are still working from home, those who stayed in the workforce, those who are actually at the job site or at work, are facing immense amount of stress. They may have worked entirely throughout COVID. Maybe they have been overworked and they have been working extra shifts and they have been dealing with a lot of things and headaches and just being at the forefront of their job and not having any help or relievement, because people are not completely back to 100% work capacity. So those are some of the signs of stress that you may be noticing in yourself or even in your coworkers, and that's how you are identifying the fact that you are going through a stressful situation at work. So what are some of those situations that are coming up at your workplace that are causing those stressful feelings? The first one is obviously too much work, too much workload, or maybe your workload has doubled or even tripled, or even a change in your job description. Something that you were doing before, you're obviously not doing now, or you're doing a combination of 1 or 2 different jobs, 3 jobs. I actually do the job of almost 5 people at my branch, so it becomes very overwhelming sometimes. The one thing that I have learned that worked for me to get me through this feeling of stress with dealing with too much work is to ask for help. And sometimes I don't ask for help because I feel like I am Superwoman and I can basically do everything, and I want to be that person that people go to. And I don't like to show any signs of weakness, so it's very hard for me to reach out and ask for help sometimes. But I've realized in the past that this is just hurting me. And I'm definitely try and ask for help, even though you may feel a little cringy about it. Maybe even the person that you're asking for help can't even help you because they're also overwhelmed. But try and ask the right people for help when you need it, and stay organized. That is the key here. Stay organized. I write notes. I write sticky notes galore. Make sure that you are staying as organized as possible, because that is 100% going to help you with your workload. One of my biggest pet peeves at work, and this is something that completely stresses me out. I don't know about you, but I hate being micromanaged. Micromanagement to me is so non-productive. Part of being a manager is that you are relying on your team to do their job. And sometimes managers feel like the way they manage is by micromanaging you and double checking, triple checking that you are doing your job. If there's no reason to micromanage somebody, you shouldn't do it. If they give you a reason and you see that there is no work being done, it's not being done on time, they can't get their projects finished, or you're getting customer complaints, then that is a different story, and 100% they should or need to be micromanaged. And this is something that really, really boils my blood, because sometimes you could be treated like it is literally your first day on the job. Meanwhile, all you want to do is roll your eyes at the person who's micromanaging you, and that becomes such a problem because now you guys are going to start butting heads, and my attitude comes out really, really bad when I'm getting micromanaged. I absolutely hate it. So what I've learned and how to deal with being micromanaged, unfortunately, is to give in a little. The person that is micromanaging you, to me, feels threatened. That's how I've seen it. That's how every single boss I've ever worked with acts when they feel threatened, or they feel like maybe their job's in trouble, or they're under a particular amount of stress that they're not sharing with you. So maybe there's something that they're going through that is on their shoulders now that you may not know about, and they're feeling the heat and the pressure. So one of the ways that I have learned to deal with this is to just give an inch. So if your boss likes to be in the loop and he likes to be told literally everything that you're doing every second of the day, give him a little. Share. Tell him when things are happening. Put him on those emails and CC him. Just do it. Because believe it or not, it's going to make your job a lot easier and less stressful if you just give an inch when it comes to micromanaging. That's all they want to feel, is like they're part of being incorporated or being involved. Something else that may be completely stressing us out or making us feel overwhelmed at work is not having any breaks or any time off. And obviously with COVID going on, it's been really hard to take time off when you need it. But if I still needed time off, I took it. And if I needed a break, I took it. And I spoke up and I said, I need to clear my head. I need to go for a walk. I need to go get some fresh air. I need to go grab a cup of coffee. I need to have my lunch break. And I'm one person that does not take lunch breaks. That's just on me. And it's something that I have to get better at, because the day can stop and for a half an hour, I can go do some self-care. And I have to remember to remove myself away from my desk for lunch, because I feel like I'm gonna miss out on something if I'm not there. But you know what? The universe will continue, world will go on, and the job will be there when you get back. Do not let people take advantage of you, and learn how to start saying no. No with conviction, and no with a little bit of an attitude that will get your point across. I'm not saying for you to be nasty, but when I say attitude, I mean confidence. Attitude equals confidence, but in a way that is nicely presented. So that's something that you have to learn, but you need to learn to not be taken advantage of. We only teach people how to treat us by allowing them to continue to take advantage of us. So stop it immediately. If there's time that you need to just step out of your comfort zone, and you need to demand it and ask for it. So we have a girl at my job who has a specific role that she's supposed to do, and she never does it. She has been spoken to on multiple occasions, but the other girls, including myself, are always picking up the slack for her. We don't cover for her. I mean, we literally are telling the higher ups and our bosses, listen, she's not doing her job. I'm going to step in and I'm going to do what I have to do so the customer is not upset or anything like that. And That is so stressful to know that you don't have a team player, that there's someone not willing to be in the trenches with you or in the sinking ship with you, because I don't even know what she does. She doesn't answer emails. She doesn't get back to customers. She doesn't do her job to her expectations, what she's expected to do. So, and a lot of other people are picking up for her, and then our job suffers because we're too busy covering for someone who is more than capable to do their job. So it becomes very stressful when you're doing the job of others with no accountability. So this is something that goes on in every single job. This is something that's not going to change. Sometimes management are at a crossroads, their hands are tied because they can't get another person trained fast enough or in the building or find someone qualified to do the job. So they rather just have a warm body there to kind of put the band-aid on instead of taking the hit and getting somebody new who is more than capable of doing the job. And unfortunately, that's with every company I've ever worked for. They go through this type of scenario. So you kind of just have to deal with it. If you've told your boss on multiple occasions that this person is not doing their job and she's not picking up the slack and you're having to cover for her, then that's where you're wrong. Stop covering. Stop doing someone else's job. If it's not in your job description, it's not your responsibility to do, just don't do it. And because it's constantly, her work is constantly being covered by others, management's not really feeling the heat and they're not getting that hurt about it because the job's still getting done by other people. And hopefully the situation will get better or change, but it's just something that you're going to have to learn to deal with because it happens in every single company. We're all overworked. We're taking our work home with us. Some of our jobs are 24 hours a day. Sometimes we just can't unplug from our job. It's just kind of like another extension of us, unfortunately. So I had to learn to pace myself and realize that there are only 8 hours in a day. And what I don't get done will get done tomorrow. The work will always be there. It's never going to go away. So pacing myself, listening to what my needs are that day, taking into consideration if I'm just having a great day. Sometimes you're having a great day when you are on your game and you can basically handle everything that is coming your way, every ball that's being thrown at you. You are juggling that stuff up in the air. Then sometimes you have a day where you just cannot manage. So I just learned to pace myself, realize that I can only do so much. I prioritize the most important things that are coming my way first. The bigger projects, I try to start them, get them out of the way, at least touch on them once or twice within the day and get the other smaller things out of the way so I can go ahead and finish those and accomplish those and get them just off my plate. Learn how to prioritize is the best. And just learn that it is okay if I don't get everything done. I am only one person. There's only so much I can do. And if I'm feeling overworked, I just have to take a step back. Just work at a pace that is okay for me and just realize that tomorrow is another day. So you're doing all of this stuff at work and you are not getting the acknowledgement or the recognition that you deserve for your job and your job performance. This could be very, very stressful because if you feel like you are doing an excellent job, you're getting along with others, customers are satisfied and happy, but you're not getting that pat on the back that you feel, that acknowledgement for your higher ups, your bosses, and it's not even showing maybe income review time or maybe even during a raise. Now, unfortunately, the way companies are going right now, it's probably really hard for them to give their employees raises. Here's an example on how I advocated for myself. So a couple of years ago, there was another girl that worked with me. We actually had 2 other girls that worked with me. They didn't last. They wound up leaving on their own fruition. They left on their own. They walked away from the job. But at one point we had another girl that worked with me that I liked. I got along with really, really well. And she did a completely different job than I did. And when she left, all of her work became my work. So there was no, let's get another girl in here or anything to that effect. They just felt like maybe the workload was enough for maybe one person to handle. And at the time, there wasn't the numbers there and they felt like, let's give it a moment until we hire again. So everything that she was working on, her job, everything became my job and it landed on my plate. And when I got the guts, I got up and I walked into their office and I said, you know, you're obviously not hiring anyone to fill that position. So you're obviously saving money by not hiring a whole new person for this job. And since I have taken over their workload and my job has gotten more heavier and I have more workload, and my job description obviously is now changed because I'm doing someone else's job, including my own, I feel I deserve more. I feel like I deserve a raise. And I said, obviously you could see that I'm more than capable of doing it and you haven't had to bring anybody else in to assist me or help me. So I feel like it's only fair that I get some sort of raise because I feel like I need to be compensated for it. And they agreed. They obviously thought about it. They came back to me in a couple of days and they said, okay, we feel like you're absolutely right. And I wound up getting a raise. And then I got a second raise come review time. So I advocated for myself and I wound up getting the money that I wanted. And it worked out in my favor. So I feel like if you are in that position where you feel like you're not being acknowledged or that they're not taking you seriously, then you need to advocate for yourself, step up, ask for what you need. And then if you're not getting the results that you want or you're getting pushback on it, then maybe it's time to kind of reevaluate that. And I actually did a video. It's one of the first videos that I ever did last year on how to get along with your boss and coworkers. So if you want to check out that video, it's one of my very earlier videos, so please don't judge, but it's kind of along the same lines on what you could do. It's more about your boss. I feel like how to get along better with your boss more. But in order to get along better with your coworkers, you kind of need to take a step back and look inside yourself and say, what is it that you can change about yourself to make you more relatable to others? Another point that I want to make is, are you a team player with these people? Are you smiling at them and are you saying hello? So one of the things that my staff would always say to me is that when I come in and I see Donna for the first time, she never says hello. Because I've always been so busy and I'm so focused on getting the day set up, or I'm in my own mind at the time, and I have a million things running through my mind that I have to get done. And then when Susie walks in the door and she is in a great mood and she's like, "Hi Donna, how are you?" And I'm like, obviously that's gonna put Susie now in a bad mood, and Susie's not gonna like me because I can't even take the 5 minutes out of my day to say hello, how are you, how's your family, how's your mom, what's going on. So that is one tip that I definitely have for you, and that is be a team player and smile and say hello to everyone when you see them in the morning. I'm telling you, it goes a very, very long way. Something that could really stress us out and that we have absolutely no control over is a bad work environment or a toxic work environment. And I've been in a couple of situations when the environment, you can literally cut it with a knife, and it is so bad that going into work is so dreadful. But unfortunately, the only way to change that is to get out of the situation. So a toxic work environment could be people at your job who are just not good people. The cancer has spread so bad that there's just no fixing it. And it really does start from the top and it works its way down. So if you have an employer who is toxic and they're spreading their toxic beliefs around to other people, and it's just not an environment that you feel comfortable in and it's making you feel stressed out, the only advice that I have for you is to get out. Because if it's gone that far, it's probably not going to change, and you're probably not the first person to feel it, and you're probably not the first person to leave. So one of the things I had mentioned is that I have a great rapport with my boss. And I think that this is absolutely key to everyone to have a stress-free work environment. It's very, very important. However, if you have a boss and you lack the support that you need to do the daily operations of your job, then we have a big situation or a big problem. Now, when I say lack of support, I can go into his office, I can ask him for anything. He's always there. He always has my back. However, sometimes I think that there's no support on the daily operational side, if that makes sense. So if I'm on the phone with multiple phones going at the same time and the phone is ringing, he will be reluctant to pick up the phone. If there's a customer at the counter and everybody's running around and we're very busy, he's reluctant to go help the customer. And I feel like that is a lack of confidence on his end, because I feel like he quite doesn't know what to do. And on a bigger scale and in the bigger picture of things, I don't think he quite understands what we're doing on a regular basis. Kind of walks around with like blinders on, and he only sees what he needs to see or what he needs to supervise. Everything else is out of his wheelhouse, and he kind of like doesn't want to be bothered with it, or he doesn't want to take on like He doesn't want to take on the situation of making it his problem. So this kind of situation is what had us butt heads last week, because what I'm dealing with right now is not only doing my actual real job, my real job description, but then I'm also trying to train myself on a whole different computer system. So like the phone's ringing off the hook, I'm doing multiple things at the same time. I'm dealing with another branch in different locations, customers, training myself, the phone's ringing, and he's like literally reminding me what our hours of operation are, and if I ran somebody's credit card, and like little micromanagerial things that he loves to do, which I think he thinks he's helping, but in the long run, it just makes me resent him more, because I feel like that's not the support I need. It's very important for you to, again, advocate for yourself, step up, and say what it is that you need help with, because they're not going to know what you need help with unless you ask for the support. And you would think that a supervisor would know what it is that they need to do to supervise, but sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes it's not in their wheelhouse. Sometimes they don't even have the experience to offer the support, or sometimes they just don't want to support you. To be quite honest, they could be a lazy supervisor. And we've all had one of those who kind of like hangs out with the staff, or who kind of like doesn't even do their own job, so to speak. So why are they going to help you with yours? So you just have to, again, advocate for yourself and make sure that you are saying and asking for help that you need, and putting yourself out there and saying, I can't do this alone. I need help. I need your support. So one of the things that I find is a big stress factor in the workplace is lack of training. And this has come across my path a lot over the years. I used to be a trainer. I'm a trainer now, so I know exactly what goes in and what's entailed to train a staff. And I feel like a lot of people are not meant to train other people, and the training new people get are kind of like half-assed, and then they can't do their job completely. There's so many people that I deal with on a regular basis that are like, I didn't know I was supposed to do that, or I was never showed that, or I didn't know that that was part of my job description, because of the lack of training. And on a whole, I think it stresses out everyone in general, because they're not getting the properly trained like they're supposed to. Also going to stress them out, the new person, because they're going to feel like they don't have all the knowledge that's needed for them to get their job done. And now let's talk about how we're going to cope with these stresses. So let's just dive into it, because I think that this is what we do that's kind of like preventing us to kind of like move on and learn from these stress factors in our job place. The thing that we want to do is rid ourselves of bad habits. Bad habits is coping with stress having to do with like alcohol or bad things for yourself. If you feel like, oh God, I need a drink, or I need to do maybe some bad substances in order to get myself through the day, that's obviously not helping you cope or deal with the stress that you need. So you want to cut out a lot of those bad habits. It's not healthy for you, and it's not going to put you in the mindset. If you are someone who is dealing with stress by using those coping mechanisms, you are just going to bring yourself more stress, because there's going to be more issues that are going to come up for yourself. You're also not going to have a clear and open mind when approaching the next day with work, because it's going to be clogged with a lot of like issues that you're having, and obviously you're using that as a band-aid to cope with your problems and not as a mechanism to heal from your problems. So other bad habits that you may have when it comes to work is saying yes all the time. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do that. It kind of fills your plate up with more stuff that you already aren't getting to. So let's add more fuel to the fire, and now we have more work on our plate that we're just not going to be able to get to. So we need to learn how to start saying no more often. We also need to learn how to take breaks, how to slow down, how to actually multitask less. If you are not someone who hasn't mastered the art of multitasking, multitasking will actually hurt you instead of help you, because you are focused on too many things and you're not doing one thing correctly. But don't take on too much that you can't really handle. Some of the things that I have found that really help me cope with stress at work is being more mindful and more grateful for the people that are around me. This is something that I really needed to learn. It's something that I didn't have as a natural instinct, and it's not one of the things that really I was gravitating towards to help me deal with stress. But as I got older and with experience, I learned that these things actually really do help when you're more grateful and you're more mindful and you have a way better positive mindset. stress actually goes away because you are just projecting a different type of aura around you. People want to be around you, and things aren't as serious as we're making them out to be. So I have learned, and one of my goals this year is to really choose my words wisely and to speak with intention and have a reasoning behind the things that I'm talking about. And I feel like that really helped me with learning this new business that I'm in, and also helped me with relationships, and it really helped me deal and cope with stress a lot easier. So I find that if you use some of these coping mechanisms for yourself, I think that you will be, in the long run, things will be a lot easier for you moving forward. Another piece of advice that I have for you is to avoid those pot stirrers at work or toxic and negative people. Associating yourself with toxic and negative people will only bring more toxic and negative situations your way. So leave those people alone. Do not associate with them. Don't be stirring up drama or problems with other people. It's just not necessary, and it does not look good for yourself. A couple of more ways on how we can cope and deal with stress at work is relaxing. Like I said, don't take things too seriously. When you have stressors that come up, my recommendation is maybe writing it down in your journal. I have a journal that I write literally everything in and talk stressors into this journal. I don't like to talk about my stress at work with people who are in my work environment, because I feel like although you can trust a lot of people at work, you also don't know who you can trust. And if you're bitching and you're moaning about other people, you don't know if they're friends with those people. And if you're bitching and moaning about your boss, you don't know who's overhearing you and if that could possibly get back to your boss or get back to higher ups. And the next thing you know, when you were talking stress with someone, you wound up getting yourself into some trouble. So I kind of like watch what I say to people. I also think that they can't then use it against me, and that will relieve me from a lot of stress, because there's no kind of like paper trail of what I've been saying. I just kind of like say it to myself. And definitely keeping a journal will help you write down and take off some of those stresses for yourself. The journal that I use is the journal from Freedom Mastery. It's a law of attraction journal and planner, and I did a whole video about this journal. I absolutely love it. I will leave a link down below, as well as I'm going to be doing a 90-day review on this journal, because after 90 days there's a reflection section where you can kind of like reflect on all of the things that you accomplished in the past 90 days. And I like to look back to see if those things or those goals I set for myself are actually being done, and if I've accomplished any so far. So I'm definitely going to be doing that video probably after this one, so you want to stay tuned and make sure you click the link below if you're interested in watching this video, because I have a whole video about this journal and I absolutely love it. So one of my last tips that I want to give you guys is how you can help yourself at work to relieve some of those stresses. So some of the tips that I have is that you absolutely want to be more proactive. Don't wait for the information to come to you. Go out and seek it and get the information for yourself. The only way that you're going to be successful is if you try to do it on your own, and then you will have the best teacher, and that best teacher is you. Always being prepared, for me, I feel, is one of the key things when it comes to work. Are you prepared? Is your desk set up? Do you have the equipment that you need to get through the day and the daily operations? If there's something that you're lacking or there's something that you need, go out and get it. Are you asking the right questions that are needed to get you through the day so that you are less stressed? And are you listening to what is going on around you? Don't just sit there with tunnel vision, with blinders on, and feel like, you know, you don't need to listen to what's going on around you because it really doesn't concern you. So I guarantee you, if you're one step ahead of everyone else, you would definitely be a little bit more successful as well, and it will bring you less stress. So those are just some of my tips on how you can cope and deal with stress better at work. I think all of us can use just a little helping hands when it comes to situations at work these days. Things are still just so a little bit unpredictable still. I know that things are opening up for us around here in New York. We are just coming up out of the rut. I feel the light as completely at the end of the tunnel. I can see it. I just feel like there's a lot of hustle and bustle here, and that things are slowly going to be going back to normal. And I kind of feel like this is going to be one of the best summers in a really, really long time. And I'm so super, super excited to share with you guys more tips. I'm going to be making this into a series because I want to do how to cope and deal with stress in your personal life, in your relationships, And there was one other topic I had, and now it just kind of like lost my mind. Maybe I wrote it down somewhere, but I just have a bunch of ideas on different scenarios on how you can cope and deal with stress better. And I really think that now is the time for self-care. And if you are new to my channel, I want to say just thank you so much for watching. We've gained a ton of subscribers lately, and we are almost at 100 subscribers. I could not believe it. 100 subscribers. I mean, it did take me almost a year and a half to get 100 subscribers, but it's 100 more people that I had over a year ago. So I am so appreciative for everyone who has stopped by and watched my videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for continuing to watch my channel and being supportive. Make sure you go ahead and check out my Instagram. I post a ton over there, so you may want to head over there. You can always leave me a comment below if there's a video that you're interested in or you want to see. Also leave links to other of my videos down below as well if you want to go and check those out. But for now, guys, I am going to go and enjoy the rest of my day. It is beautiful outside. It's going to be like 78 degrees today, and I am so excited. I am ready to enjoy this summer. And I already did my gardening last week, so all my gardening is done. I spray painted a bunch of my old pots, so my gardening is done and out of the way, and I am just super excited. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the weekend, and I will see you guys really soon.